I'd like to introduce Dr. Charles O'Mahony, the head of the School of Law, who's going to make some final remarks before we close today's session.
I might introduce you first to do it. Thank you. Sure, perfect. Hello, everybody. Do you want to hear the good news or the bad news? Okay. So, I'll start with the bad news, actually. The bad news is that we've half an hour allocated to this, so there's a half an hour between you and your lunch. But the good news is we'll only speak for about 10 minutes, okay? So I'm going to hand you over to Eleanor, who's going to try to draw together some of the themes and the learning from this week. Okay, thank you, Eleanor.
Sorry, slight musical chairs there as we figured out what to do. Thanks, Charles, for that. Wow, what a week it's been, and here we are at the end. I'm really proud of the summer school that we've put together here. Charles is going to thank everyone individually, but I just want to say a big collective thank you to the huge team that we have at the centre and all of the volunteers, friends, neighbours, family, extended family, everybody we pulled into this week and convinced them that it would be a great idea to give us their support for the week. So they've been doing an incredible job to put this together for you. What have we learned this week? What will we take away with us? I'm really pleased that we were able to organise a summer school on intersectionality, and while we chose to focus on specific identities in order to make the conversations more meaningful, and the identities we chose were gender, age and disability. We've been hearing throughout the week about all the other identities and intersecting factors that we need to consider in order to build a just world together. So I hope that you go away with new ideas for change, a new understanding of the possibilities, maybe a new understanding of who's in and who's out of conversations that are happening in all of your contexts, and a renewed vigour to build a more inclusive approach to reforming the laws, policies and practices that affect the rights of people with disabilities. I think sometimes people feel intersectionality is a scary word, and a word that maybe only belongs to academics and doesn't have any relevance for work on the grassroots and work in civil society. So I hope you go away from this week feeling that that's not the case. And while it might seem like a complex term, in reality what we're talking about is just being inclusive of everybody and recognising the diversity of humanity and the different experiences that we all bring to bear as we push together to fight for change. And when I think about what intersectionality means and what it looks like in practice, I think there is no better example than the group that we have gathered here throughout this week. Look at yourselves. This is what an intersectional movement looks like. You should be really, really proud of what you've accomplished. I hope that you've enjoyed all of the conversations that you've had throughout the week. I hope you've had a chance to talk to some of your heroes, whether they're your fellow participants that are your heroes, or the speakers in the faculty that we have brought here to hear from and to learn from about their experiences. I always think that one of the amazing things about summer school is that there are so many people in the audience participating who are just as qualified and have just as amazing insights as the people that are up here at the top of the room sharing their ideas with you. And I've really enjoyed the question and answer sessions that we've had throughout the week. I think what I'll be taking away from this is the need to work on intersectionality at a number of different levels. And we tried to organise throughout the week to make sure that we reflected those different levels. Particularly yesterday, we would have heard about intersectionality in the work of the UN, intersectionality in the work of civil society, and intersectionality in the legislative and policy reform efforts going on in countries throughout the world. And I think taking away from today, we should feel that we shouldn't confine disability rights to the usual boxes to which it is assigned. We shouldn't only be interested in contributing to consultations about reform that have disability in the title of the legislation or disability in the title of the policy. If we've learned anything, it's that every area of policy and legislation is relevant to people with disabilities. People with disabilities are not a homogenous group, and they contain people with many different kinds of identities. So when we're working on transport policy, when we're working on education policy, employment policy, we should always have people with disabilities and a wide spectrum of the diversity of people with disabilities at the table. And we need to start building alliances and strengthening the alliances that exist between the disability movement and other social movements, the movement of older people, the movement of children and young people, the women's movement, movements of LGBTQI people, movements of migrants and refugees, and many, many other movements. I'm not going to be able to list every possible identity or movement for social change, but I think everywhere we see a push for progressive change is a place where people with disabilities need to be guaranteed a seat at the table. And more than that, not just one seat at the table. As we've heard about, it's very dangerous to have tokenistic consultation processes where one voice, one individual is expected to speak for the wide diversity of people with disabilities. So we need to have many seats at many tables as we move forward to achieve real change. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Charles, who is going to go through the list of people who need to be acknowledged for their contribution to the week. But I do just want to say before that I'm really proud to work in a diverse and inclusive workplace, and particularly the team that is behind this week is a woman-dominated team. I don't think any of the men involved will mind me saying that. And we appreciate you being here, and you are blessed to be among us. But it really is driven by women, and I am so proud to work with the women that I work with. And I particularly want to acknowledge, as she's not here today, Laura Sarah, who put her heart and soul into this, and even though she had moved on to another employment opportunity, was able to come back and be part of this week, and it wouldn't have been the same without her. So we're really, really pleased to have had her input, as well as everybody else who Charles is going to thank. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks very much, Eleanor. One of the things I think has always struck me around intersectionality is that a lot of people talk about it in their research and in their conversations, but not that many people seem to understand it in reality. And I'm probably one of those people. And I'm sorry I couldn't have attended more of the summer school. I just wasn't able to for work commitments. I look forward to looking back at the videos of the different proceedings from the different days. So I'm given the very nice job just thanking all the people that invest a lot of time and energy and weeks and days and months into organising the summer school. And I'd like to start by, first of all, thanking you, the participants, for travelling from all around the world to be with us here this week and to contributing to the various different days of the summer school. So to start off, to thank you for your contributions throughout the course of the week. So maybe give yourselves a round of applause. Well done. I'd like to thank the co-directors, Laura Maria Serra, Eleanor Flynn, for the huge amount of work they've done and leadership in putting together the programme and organising this over the past year. So well done to them for a really exciting programme, very interesting programme. There were a huge amount of people that contributed to the week, participants, but also the people that had given their contributions, shared their own experiences on the 5 days of the summer school. Also the chairs and the facilitators invested a huge amount of work, to thank them as well. The timekeeper, thank you very much. That was a very difficult job. You did a fantastic job. Catering staff and colleagues from the School of Law, the College of Business Public Policy Law at the University, and here in the Life Course Institute as well, who all were very supportive of the summer school. So I'm just going to talk, just mention in particular the master's students, the PhD students, the interns who really put in a huge amount of work over the course of the last week and beyond that, last number of weeks in organising the summer school. So let's call them out. Elizabeth Egan, Jose Hernandez Levia, Iana Gross, Lucia Bernardi, Emma Burns, Bo Chen, Emmanuel Charles, Leah Urzel, Sigur Simpson, Emily, Sarah, Aaron, Molly, Tepesita, Fiona, Ilona, Anya, Matthew, Rachel, Katrina, Michelle, Cormac, Emmanuel. And that really was a team effort and a huge amount of work, so thank you very much. And then also, I suppose, to our colleagues in the School of Law and the Centre for Disability Law and Policy, Eleanor in particular again, Joanna, Laura Maria Serra, Maria Gomez, Cliona Davodish, Mary Flaherty and Sharon Hegarty. A huge amount of work, particularly Sharon and Joanne, I know, and Cliona, a huge amount of work that you've invested over the course of the last year, really. I know it's a week-long event, but there is actually a year's amount of work put into it. So thank you very much, and we greatly appreciate it. And also our colleague in the School of Law, Michael Coyne, who did a lot of the kind of IT work around the summer school and the programme. And last year I did something terrible. I'm really bad at actually doing this. I forgot to thank the timekeeper last year, Maria Walls, who had spent 5 days keeping everybody on time. So I'd like to thank Maria Walls for the fantastic job she did last year in timekeeping. And apologies, it's a year late, but thank you very much, Maria. So thank you very much. I look forward to maybe chatting with some of you outside, and enjoy your lunch and safe travels as you go home over the course of the next couple of days. Thank you very much.